It's Movie Time is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center, 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. Further details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.org.
The award-winning It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Linda Baas McClelland.
And this is...
It's Movie Time!
Linda, but it's not a great time for movies.
No.
No, not until about May are we going to get any that we're really going to be excited about. So let's look at the good and the bad, and you can leave the ugly all the way out there, right?
Okay.
Good, from my estimate,
Yeah.
good is Kong Skull Island. What do you think?
Well, you know what? I never even saw the 1933 original King Kong.
Okay.
In fact, I don't think I've ever seen any of the movies. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, it's a real monster movie, that's for sure. And it had moments that reminded me of Apocalypse Now. Did you see that at all?
Oh my gosh, all over the place. Yeah, the big huge sun,
Yeah.
the boat on the river.
The rock music and the soldiers hamming it up.
Yeah.
And yeah, I went, oh, this reminds me a little bit of that movie.
And for me, it also evokes Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness.
Right.
And in my review, I mentioned a couple of the allusions to that. It's very
Right.
clear.
The names, they used the names that were
Yeah,
allusions
they
to
write
that.
from Heart of Darkness. And as the monster goes, is Kong that powerfully bad?
No, actually, I think he turns out to be the hero of this movie, I believe. He's 104 feet tall or something like that.
Yes.
And it turns out he has sort of a sensitive nature. He just didn't like all those helicopters flying onto his island. That kind of ticked him off.
Yeah, right. I think at one point a character says, you know, when somebody comes dropping bombs in your backyard, you're going to fight back.
Right, right. But we find out eventually that the real bad guys turn out to be the skull crawlers. And they're giant skull-faced lizards who have killed Kong's family.
Yeah.
And they slurp down human beings like olives in a martini.
I know, but he takes care of their tongue. They're on the big one. But yeah, you know, and they make an allusion in the script to them being from hell, below the earth,
Right.
as if he were God above the earth. So they got to give it a biblical cast over that. So there are several things going on other than just a monster movie.
Right.
And everybody's going to want to know about the Fay Ray character. Now, you haven't seen her. You haven't seen the original. But we do have Brie Larson, a classy indie actress.
Right. And she plays the war photographer who is assigned to record the trip over there. But she's not the typical blonde that they usually use for the woman in a film. And I like Tom Huddleston because he leads the way and he's very buff.
Oh, he is great. He's such a fine actor. He's Loki for the other people who want to know who this is. But he doesn't have a whole lot to do.
No.
John Goodman is probably the standout character.
Right.
And,
but he gets destroyed early on.
Right. As well as John C. Reilly. So you have your character actors doing a real good job here.
I really like John C. Reilly as the World War II soldier who's been marooned on this island, living among this interesting mix of tribes. They look like they're all different kinds of people who are very silent. And he knows the lay of the land. Sometimes people don't want to listen to him. But he knows what's going on. He knows that Kong is protecting them from the nasty skull crawlers. Samuel L. Jackson is the intense Lieutenant Colonel Packard.
Oh, yeah.
With bulging eyes, full of revenge, but that his revenge gets in the way of his common sense.
Yeah, and you know, that again, it's a film of layers. And I think there's a commentary on militarism, upon the dominance of the military over the civilians.
Right.
And I think it does it. And considering the enormous military budget that our president is proposing, it's timely. The commentary on the power of the military is timely, and Samuel L. Jackson is a great representative of that kind of wild ass soldier who's going to protect us all.
Right, exactly.
Well, you suggested to me that you thought there might have been a subtext that Kong was.
I thought for just a little bit that maybe Kong was a female instead of a male. because at times you saw such sensitivity coming
Yes.
out of her eyes, and when she rescues the Brie Larson character, it wasn't with lust, but it was with tenderness and caring.
Yes.
So, you know, that maybe this Kong is a woman.
Oh, nobody's going to listen to you, Lindy. But
I know.
I surely find it interesting.
I know.
Well, we've got another loner here
Oh,
in another movie. It's called Wilson, and it stars Woody Harrelson
oh boy.
as a curmudgeon.
Oh, he's totally unfiltered, totally inappropriate. He's a mess of a man.
And he follows the curmudgeon formula. You know, how are you going to make him civilized and lovable? And eventually he reconnects with his ex-wife,
Right.
played by Laura Dern, and also with his unknown daughter.
Right. He finds out after he reconnects with Pippi, that's Laura Dern's character's name, that instead of aborting the child that he knew she was pregnant with, she had the child and gave it up for adoption. And so Wilson and Pippi tracked down this 17-year-old kind of pudgy girl.
Yeah, Claire.
Claire. But Claire, I think, is the only one that had any character development at all, because you saw her sort of accept Wilson and Pippi, which led to a disaster. He gets arrested for kidnapping. But she was okay, but everything else was so flat, just like the graphic comic book novel that it came from.
Well, yeah, and it's more cartoonish than it is a regular movie.
Right.
And I think that the tone is way off. Way off meaning I don't think that the filmmakers had decided really if this were a comedy or a tragedy.
Right.
I know they're billing it as a comedy,
Oh, yeah.
but I don't buy it
I
as
don't
a
buy
comedy.
it. I think there was a scene in the movie that Wilson is watching ice melt off of a basketball backboard. And the whole movie is about as entertaining as watching that ice melt. I mean, it's just, there's just no substance to
Listen,
it.
there are a couple of moments of Woody spitting out some great misanthropy.
Yes.
And you know, about his fellow human beings. That could be right when he disses them. But in the end, I don't know, is this supposed to be funny? Is this supposed to be serious or what? That's where I think it may have gone bad.
Right. And Wilson, the character, is such a mix of optimism, but yet he's so negative most of the time that, you know, you don't really care about him because you don't understand him, you know, where he's coming from at all.
Look, if you go to it as I did, wanting to enjoy Woody Harrelson, it's just not going to happen. Even that
No.
kind of innocent bad boy persona of his doesn't come out right, and it's probably due
No.
to the writing, because I think he's capable of so much more.
Yeah, he's always been one of my favorites, but he falls pretty flat in this movie.
All right, Linda Baas McClelland. We have two movies.
Oh yeah.
Kong Skull Island. What grade would you give it?
Well, add popcorn and you got a perfect movie experience. I give it a B.
All right. And what about Wilson?
I couldn't wait for it to end, so I gave it a D.
All right. And here I am, good Lord, just following like a little lapdog right after you. But my Kong is also a B,
Oh,
and my Wilson is also a D. However, there are good movies to be found out there, and who's going to find them for our audience?
you are, John.
And you are, Liddy. We all are, the whole team on It's Movie Time. So stay tuned.
We did a double feature today.